addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I might rent the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me a notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping more for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubble still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's gotta help me underwater's cold case. I wake up with pain sometime and never go away. Wonder why I balance to my knees when I pray. In my city gritty, gotta keep it on your waist. Or you might be a victim, they'll find you DOA. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, isn't that the truth? It does not matter who the host is. Today is Friday. Oh, yes, Friday, January the 22nd of 2021, and day 22 of the year, and only 340 days left before it is all over with. So look at that bright side on that. Anyways, I hope you're off to a fantastic morning as we are preparing to get into the weekend. That is always kind of a fun part of the deal, of the gimmick, or however you want to take a look at it. Or maybe you work on the weekends and maybe you look at the weekends differently regardless on what's going on. Anyways, we're broadcasting live across the multiverse of Safety FM. We're coming to you live from the Safety FM studios, of course, in Orlando, Florida. But besides that, we're across the multiverse of Safety FM. We are also, being infiltrated.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yep, so that's part of the sequence of events taking place now. We are also available on RadioBig.fm, and we have been doing that for the last couple of weeks, so that has been fun times. This show is a continuation show, so let's kind of go that way. We start off on this show, on the Rated R Safety Show, 7 a.m., Eastern Standard Time, and then we kind of move it forward and then go into a couple of more hours of fun and weird stuff going on there on Jay Allen in the mornings on RadioBig.fm. Yeah, I get to do a lot of things early now, but hey, that's fun. I like it and enjoy it and get to spend some glorious time with you. So that's the fun part there. Anyway, so on Fridays, we normally talk about what is trending on VOD services or video on demand services, if you may. And there you go. We're talking about some new stuff coming up. And here we go. According to new to Disney Plus, Pixar Popcorn will be released for you to be able to take a watch on that. Next, coming up, not a lot of movies going on this weekend, apparently. New to Hulu will be Terra Willy, which I'm not even sure what that is. So you can enjoy some Terra Willy if you want to. And the new to Netflix will be White Tiger. White Tiger. So there you go. So anyways, new on our platform on Safety FM Plus, if you do hang out and do some things there, is the latest episode of Around the Safety Pod, or what we talk about called Around the Safety Podcast. And that is a clip show. And that's essentially what it is. It finds 10 podcasts of what is kind of popular at the moment. And it's really a time saver is really what it boils down to. So you can take a listen to that of what exactly is going on. Now, currently, we have this in a free form. That was yesterday. What the hell am I talking about? A free format. So meaning that it is not behind the paywall of the service. You can actually take a listen to the first 3 episodes available, or view the first 3 episodes at Safety FM Plus. So there you go. That's some stuff going on right there out of the bat and inside of the box. So anyways, as we start off our morning talking about all the stuff, a lot of people seem to be enjoying the 30-second format of the news. So why break what people like if that's what they're liking? So let's go ahead and give you 30 seconds by feature story news on what is going on.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Story news in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Tokyo Olympics organisers say they're fully focused on hosting the Games this summer, despite reports government officials believe they'll be cancelled. Joe Biden says the number of US COVID deaths will likely pass 500,000 next month. The UK government's considering a £500 payment to anyone who tests positive for COVID-19 in England, and Google says it might remove its search engine from Australia because of legislation to force it to share royalties with news publishers.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA.
Oh, yeah, I've listened to them forever.
I love them.
It's the only radio station we agree on.
We love the music. Honestly, I'd rather listen to my computer's exhaust fan.
Jay Allen in the morning on Radio Big.
Well, I have to tell you, that's slightly hurtful. I mean, why would you want to listen to that? But hey, that's perfectly fine. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Interesting. I did not know that about the Google Moogle potentially leaving Australia because of royalty shares. So that would be some interesting dynamics for sure, and exactly what is going on. So as this has given us some opportunities now that we have shorter information related to what is going on inside of the world of the news, let's talk to our friends from, the John and Heidi Show. And this is going to be John Smalls talking about the Motivation Minute.
Time now for the Motivation Minute, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Do you have a credit card? Is it a pretty good one? Here's how you can tell. Take the details of your current card and compare them for free at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
There's a great anonymous quote that says, "Successful entrepreneurs are givers and not takers of positive energy." Now, this can be a tough one. Sometimes it feels like you have absolutely nothing to give, nothing whatsoever to offer. But if you take just a moment to help someone else, or maybe take an opportunity to be a blessing in someone else's life, first of all, you're going to feel better about your situation instantly, and your gift of positive energy is going to make the other people in your life feel better too. So be a giver, not a taker of positive energy. With today's Motivation Minute, I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. The Motivation Minute is brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. And a reminder, you can find more at motivationminute.org.
So there you go. Hopefully you feel motivated first thing on this Friday morning, 7 minutes past the top of the hour. Of course, you are hanging out here on safetyfm.com or radiobig.com, depending on where you're taking a listen to us or even potentially taking a view. So there you go. Anyway, so if you did not know, we have dropped the newest episode of the Jay Allen Show this morning. It is not a mini episode. It is with Tracy Carragher, author of The B Words. Oh, yes, I did enjoy this interview that I had today with her. Interesting stuff. And yesterday, she did receive the CSP Excellence in Service Award provided by the BCSP. So there you go. Congratulations to her. And hopefully you'll be able to take a listen to the episode today at some point, and hopefully you will enjoy it because I thought it was some fun times. Anyways, let's get into some of the portions of the news of what is exactly going on around the world. We talk a little bit about everything, as you already are aware, what's going on in the news, how it ties into safety, and how safety ties into some of the things inside of the news. So let's take it from the very top. A woman from California who was charged with attempted murder after internationally running over a Trump supporter with her vehicle last year is facing new charges in connection with another anti-Trump incident. Tatiana Rita Turner, 40, has been hit with 2 felony counts of assault with a deadly weapon after a month-long review of video evidence that shows her using a 4-foot-long rod to repeatedly beat 2 men who were lying on the ground after being attacked by other protesters. Turner, who has previous felonies convictions for drug sales and domestic violence, faces 7 years to life plus 26 years if convicted on all charges. So there you go. Some interesting stuff definitely going on first thing in the morning as we do talk about it. God, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, it's like such weird times across the board of everything going on. I mean, there is no doubts, ins and buts about it. So there you go, talking about that. Glad to hear that there are some people out there that are listening to the show and are sharing it, and they're in peaceful areas. That just popped up on my screen, so... But it was a weird box where it popped up. It didn't pop up on the normal screen, so thanks for sharing that right there. Anyways, a Milwaukee man was driving without a license when he struck and killed Joe Daniels, Dean of Marquette University College of Business Administration. Jordan G. Jones was charged this week with a hit and run resulting in death and driving with a suspended license causing death in the February 11th crash near the university. Prosecutors said that Jones's girlfriend was arrested on the scene because the pair told officers that she had been driving. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports that later told investigators that Joan was the one driving and made her switch seats with him because he is a felon. Neither of them helped the 60-year-old Daniels after the crash. If convicted, Jones faces up to 31 years in prison. God, what a lot. I mean, let's talk about this real quick. We are definitely not starting off on the positive foot, that's for sure, on what's going on. But incident after incident of the weird. That is what is going on. Hit and run, beating somebody with a pole, and now we go into Florida and talk about the weirdness that goes inside of there. Florida's monkey whisperer has been charged with conspiracy of trafficking and for allegedly shipping primates, including endangered species, to clients all over the country. Prosecutors arrested Jimmy Wayne Hammonds, 57, for allegedly shipping shipping monkeys to a customer in California and endangered cotton-top tamarins to clients in Alabama, South Carolina, and Wisconsin, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Florida. Prosecutors told Page Six that Hammonds, who has been breeding primates since 2017, tried to persuade at least one of his customers to lie about where she got the animals from. In total, he faces 7 counts, including trafficking, witness tampering, and violating Endangered Species Act. He faces up to 30 years in prison. Oh my God. Let's just retitle this damn thing today to the prison show, because that is exactly what is going on. So hold on. So 2017, he's been doing this, going around, and let's kind of not underestimate what has been happening here. But geez, man, are we going to turn around now? And are we going to have like the primate show on Netflix? I mean, we had Tiger King. I mean, and that was unexpected. And I know that it was a weird time when it got released because there was a lot of quarantining going on, as people like to say. But man, that thing came out and it was like hotcakes going around and about.
Duh.
So what's going to happen then? So are people going to be doing the same thing of, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread? I mean, Tiger King was pretty popular. Let's just be realistic. And I'm not going to say that Dancing with the Stars is mostly with stars because you know that I'm lying. But holy shit, when somebody from that show actually made it on there, or documentary series made it on there, that's, that tells you something. Anyways, rioter in downtown Seattle caused damage to the city following Joe Biden's inauguration. Multiple sites were vandalized, including an Amazon Go store and a Starbucks. Do you know what an Amazon Go store is? If you're not familiar with it, it's a pretty cool concept. And I will tell you, I have been in front of 3 of those stores and never been able to go in because it was like 5 something in the morning all the times that I was able to do it. But the concept of the store is this. If you have an Amazon account, at least this is how I understood it at the time. It might have changed since then. Been about a year and a half or so. If you had an Amazon account that's tied into a credit card, you can actually go in and it's able to scan everything as you walk in, pick up, and walk away, and boom, it pings directly to you. Apparently, somehow it knows that you have that Prime account, and voila, there you go. Let me continue anyways. Windows were shattered in William Kenso's Nakamura courthouse. The group gathered to protest the new president and law enforcement, according to multiple outlets. Innocent bystanders were also attacked in the melee, and an American flag was lit on fire in the middle of an intersection. About 200 miles of south in Portland, another group of protesters clashed with officers as they marched to the headquarters of the Democratic Party of Oregon. Along the way, windows were smashed and buildings were covered with graffiti. So there you go. And I know, I mean, if we talk about the last election, the election where Donald Trump won the presidency, there were some people inside or outside on the streets, you know, chanting the "Not My President" thing. Seems like we have some similar things going on right now and exactly of what is happening. Now, not getting swampy here, but we have to talk a little bit. With there being such a great divide inside of the country in regards of some of these things that are going on, what do you think here? Do you think we'll ever get to the place where we're able to commonly agree on things? Or do you think that that's kind of out the window at the moment? I mean, I just ask because I think that it's going to be a subject of conversation just in case. But what do you think about that? Like, what comes to mind as we talk about it? Because there's a lot of stuff. I mean, that is for sure. It's not like it's going to be going away. Politics will always be part of our fabric, just kind of the way that it goes. I don't think any of that will change unless you know something that I don't, which is possible because a lot of people know a lot more stuff than what I do. But do you think that that will change, or we will see other things have an impact? Anyway, still talking a little bit about everything. Let me bring this up where you can take a look at this. And this actually was announced yesterday. So let's go through this real quick. Let me kind of get to the correct screen as I do bring this up. So here you go. A friend of the show, Jim Frederick, appointed Deputy Assistant Secretary of Osha. That was announced yesterday. And, of course, this has been shown by the National Safety Council. The National Safety Council congratulates Jim Frederick on the appointment of the Deputy Assistant Secretary for OSHA, announced on January the 20th. Deputy Assistant Secretary Frederick, who was also to work with the NSC as a result of the council acquisition of the ORC. So that took place, but Jim has now joined OSHA as a Deputy Assistant Secretary. So congratulations to him. He is a great guy. Glad to see that this has occurred and that he is actually going to be helping out and enforcing some OSHA regs out there inside of the world. Of course, and let me tell you, and some people might like this and some people might not, just depending. And he is also a HOP practitioner, so I love it. I love the whole idea that OSHA will be getting infiltrated by HOP by some way, shape, or form. So that's one thing to look at as well. So let's continue talking. A red kangaroo is drawing lots of attention for an unusual feature. It's all white fur. The Joey, born recently at the New York Zoo, was removed from his mother's pouch for a medical inspection this week, and the zookeepers were shocked to see that it were completely white. Zoo officials said that the coloration of the results are a rare mutation called Lessiism, which causes a loss of pigmentation. In a Facebook post, the zoo said that they are not aware of any other cases about this kind of kangaroo, the red kangaroo, in the United States, providing just how rare the incident actually is. So there you go. Some stuff there for sure to talk about. Netflix has launched a worldwide test of shuffle play. The feature designed for the indecisive subscribers started streaming random titles based on their viewing history. The goal is to encourage users to watch more content on the service and get hooked on new shows and movies. Didn't they have something similar before? Where it was, I could have swore there was something like this before. That it was a random selection that it would do. And I talk about Netflix a lot in these video streaming services because if you are like I, at one point used to travel a lot on the road, and you got back to the hotel room, didn't have much going on, you had some shows to watch, or you wanted some shows to watch, and I could have swore that feature was available. Or, then again, who knows? It might have actually been some of the channels that were available at the hotel.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, although markets closed with mixed results on Thursday, both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 finished at marked. The NASDAQ composite moved higher than 73 points, while the S&P added just 1 point. The Dow Jones Industrial Average sank about 12 points. First jobless claims fell last week, but they were reported to be almost 1 million claimants. United Airlines tanked about 5.2% after reporting its fourth quarter losing quarter in a row. So there you go. During 2020, the airlines lost almost $28 per share. I hope that we see that industry pick up soon because, there's a resolution to the ongoing issue. That would be the reason. Anyways, let's talk about Los Angeles real quick. The Los Angeles County Super Spreader Task Force is cracking down on underground parties. Yes, this is a thing again. We're not talking about raves. We're talking about underground parties. Last week, the task force broke up 3 parties, resulting in 137 arrests. One of the findings and shining portions there was a stripper party at the flower shop in the southeast LA County. According to authorities inside the flower shop, there were excess of about 50 party goers, most of whom were not wearing a mask, all whom were arrested just inside as it appears. Per LA County Safer at Home order, all gatherings with people from more than one household are prohibited except for outdoor religious services and outdoor political expression events. Now, a lot of people didn't have masks on, but a lot of people were definitely naked.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so here we go. 3 soldiers were killed. Yes, I did say that. 3 soldiers were killed after a helicopter crash in upstate New York on Wednesday evening. The UH-60 medical evacuation chopper was on a routine training mission when it crashed, according to New York authorities. Governor Andrew Cuomo ordered all state flags to be lowered to half staff yesterday because of the incident. But here goes another conversation about deaths and things that are occurring. And here we go, where we talk about the strange things that happen inside of times and how some strange things can happen at any particular moment of time during a sequence of a job, a training, so on. And here's what it is. It's the safeguards that are in place. Not saying that this was avoidable, so let's kind of make sure that we're clear here. But you see how everything is not predictable. Everything is not preventable. That needs to be an ongoing theme on some of the things that we talk about from time to time. And it can't just be, oh, okay, that's it. Everything's preventable. Everything's checklistable. I mean, that's the stuff that we need to talk about and make sure that we do have those conversations. Anyways, American filed for about 900,000 applications for unemployment benefits last week, a slight drop from the previous week, which saw about 926,000. The feds have now reported that 75.6 million jobless claims over the course of the coronavirus crisis, and that is a 47% of the nation's workforce. Jobless claims have remained above the pre-pandemic record of 695,000 for 44 consecutive weeks, according to Bloomberg. And it's Jim, and it isn't human error all the time. There you go. So a lot of stuff. I mean, just a lot of stuff to think about in regards to the jobless claims, in regards to what we're talking about with the accident. Matter of fact, let's go back to you saying that, Jim, if you don't mind. Human error. How many times do you see in a newspaper article of an incident occurs, and the first thing that's listed is deathly crash due to human error? Like, how common is that? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy on how some of these things come about. And of course, I can get here and cry and scream and yell about all these things. But it's kind of one of these strange things that we have to talk about, and it's ongoing, and it's the way that we look at our systems and how things go. And it's just such easier to say, hey, if I can blame this guy down the road, makes it so much easier than doing anything else about it. Let's go back for a moment talking about jobless claims once again. Last week, I asked for a huge favor from you, if you didn't mind, and I want to continue to ask once again. As you can see, that there's a lot of people that are out there that are still having a problem related to finding jobs. If you could do me the huge favor, and if you're on any social media platform, if you can repost a job that you find on there. If you see something that somebody's saying, hey, we have this available, let the other safety professionals know that it's out there. Got lots of information in the box. Isn't 85 to 95% of accidents because of human error? Not. I was so good, not sure where we were going to go with that premise. Brent Charlton, good morning. How common? Almost every single time. Almost every single time. And then Jim, sorry. It is intellectually lazy. There you go. I have to agree with you with a lot of the stuff that's going on, of course, first thing in the morning as we are talking about this. Now, I will always say the exact same thing. You know, we can have these conversations, but we have to spread it to the masses, and we have to go out there and talk about these things on how they can actually change inside of our systems. If we do not do this and not have these continuing conversations all the time, it will never get better. But I think that I'm telling this to somebody who already knows this. I'm not saying something that you don't already know. So there you go, some stuff to talk about for sure as we do this morning. So this morning I wanted to try something slightly different. We've been talking about this for a little bit. If you've been paying attention to some of the stuff that Todd Conklin and I have been hanging out doing on his podcast, I wanted to do something today. And matter of fact, now that I want to mention it too before I forget, also Sheldon Primus did this week, where he gave you the opportunity of taking a listen. I wanted to share something with you. We're not going to do main feature stories, so don't worry about that part. But what I want to do is I want you to take a listen to a small clip of something. We'll come out of it relatively quick, so don't go too far. And then we'll come back, go into some other portions of what's going on inside of the news. But I want you to take a listen to this and tell me what you think about the concept if you haven't heard the concept already. And let's talk a little bit about that because I want to know what people are thinking. I mean, if you don't like it, I would love to hear it. If you do like it, I would love to hear it just to kind of know where we can go next with this. But take a listen to this. This is a creation between Todd Conklin and myself.
Well, welcome to episode 3 of Around the Safety Podcast. A lot of people enjoying episode 2. So let me tell you what the goals are for this show today. We're trying to get you in and out in less than 30 minutes to let you know exactly what is going on around the podcast world related to safety. That's why we have our little show here, Around the Safety Pod. Thank you. Over the last week, we actually hung out with Todd Conklin on the pre-accident investigation, having a discussion on what the show's about. Anyways, this particular show is the brainchild of yours truly and Todd Conklin. But let's not talk anymore, and let's get you into the mix with clip number 10 here on Around the Safety Pod.
In the mix.
So this is Captain Josh Roundtree. I'm the Global Vigilance Combined Task Force Chief of Safety. So I'm Colonel Rohrberg's Chief of Safety over his squadron over there. And I'm also a test pilot for the RPA squadron as well. My introduction, so I started finding myself into autonomy type of systems and projects back when I was in operational tests with the RQ4. And we dabble a little bit back then. And then as I went into and I started going through the Air Force's test pilot school, that's where I was really thrown into the deep end about what we're doing with autonomy and ways we're trying to figure out how to test these systems, how to tease out how well they're performing at various tasks that we ask them to. And so that's where my introduction to autonomy came from, and where my interest really began to explode there as well. And so as we go along, I try to find a way to marry up the capabilities of autonomy with remotely piloted aircraft and ultimately unmanned aircraft as we move forward in this field. It's a pretty exciting time to be in it.
Excellent. So there you go. That is a small clip from around the safety pod. But what the focus of this particular show is, and let me kind of give some explanations here, is for people to listen to what is going on inside of the world of podcasting. We do have 10 clips inside of there, ranging anywhere from anything that is going on inside of the safety industry that it seems to be going on that's important. Now, they're talking in that particular clip about what is going on inside of that industry of airplanes. So that way you can have kind of a better understanding of what it is. It's very of 2001 Odyssey, if you do get to take a chance to listen to it. Now, the goal behind this is I kind of want to reference this is for you to have a kind of a glance of what is happening, but also at the same time to this. So let's say, for instance, you hear something that you like, then you can know where to go. It's kind of like a what is it they call it? A poo-poo platter, where you actually have the platter there and you make a choice going, okay, I like this. Let's go with the entree on there. So what I want to do is, to an extent, is help other podcasters, some that are broadcasters as well, get some additional information out there on what's going on inside of their world. So that's the whole intent behind it. Now, I want to make sure that we're clear here. They are not only Safety FM shows. There are some Safety FM shows on there, but the majority of it is outside of the Safety FM multiverse. And that's the whole intent here. At the end of the day, as I do talk about this all the time, it's not about so much of a brand or where we're coming from or anything to that extent. What I want to do is assist, because that's all I'm being able to do, is assist grow the profession on what are the conversation pieces that are going on around there. Believe me, if you look right now, there are more podcasts related to safety than you can shake a stick at. Some good, some bad, and, well, some, I'm not even sure how they're recorded, but hey, whatever. But that's the thing. That is the thing. So I want to save you some time of you don't have to torture yourself. And I'm going to tell you, I pick what I find that I think that is important to what is going on. Now, the other portion that I want to reference real quick, too, doesn't mean that I agree with what they're saying. Doesn't mean that I agree with the person. Doesn't mean that I agree with what is going on. But it is important for this moment in time for the industry. So that is the reason why I am choosing the clips that I do. And I think that we're finding also some things, or having the availability of finding some things that you might normally not listen to. And that's the goal. Now, the interesting side effect of this, which I did not expect to happen, is the amount of people now that tag me on their podcast when they actually put it on social media. And that's fine. It's kind of funny. But I'm not looking for people to come and say, here, take my podcast. No, that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to find something that is genuine, that people want to take a listen to. Like, I will tell you, there's some psychological safety stuff that goes on there. There's some new podcasts that are coming on. I was actually talking to a podcaster this morning prior to the show. Yes, on the other side of the planet, just to make sure. And we were discussing on how he's about to release a new podcast. Now, listen, there's a lot of great podcasts out there. Let's not lie about it. There's a lot of good information. But the problem is that podcasts take a lot of work, especially when it comes related to safety. The average podcaster, between you and I talking, because you and I are the only ones talking here, is 14. Most people do not make it past episode 14, because here's the thing. Most people that can do this relatively well make it look pretty simple. So they go back and they think, oh, I can just turn on a microphone and run from there, and it does not work out well for them. I hope they succeed, don't get me wrong. Or the other portion that you get is the miniature podcast. the miniature podcast that lasts anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes, and they just dump a crap load of those episodes. That way they can say they made it past episode 14, which that's perfectly fine too, as long as it's bringing good content. Now, I will tell you, I've used some clips from some of these shorter shows, and that's perfectly fine. The only bad thing that I feel about it is that when we put it onto Around the Safety podcast or Around the Safety pod, however you want to call it, it's the whole show. So I feel bad about that. So that's the other side that I take a look at. Anyways, let me get off the soapbox about the podcasting thing, because you kind of know where we're going here as we talk about it. But hey, there is a good slew of podcasts out there. Let's kind of see if we can cut some time back for you. You can find it available on safetyfmplus.com if you're interested in doing so. So there you go, some stuff going on inside of there. So let's talk about that right there, where you can take a look at it. Just hang out there, and like I said, it is in front of the paywall, so it's not like here's my sales pitch for today, and let's run from there. Okay, so let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the news. Monkeying around your face. Yes, I'm not joking here, because why not? Already 2021 is starting off to look like another weird year. So how about a bizarre fashion trend? Now appearing in a face near you, the Monkeytail Beard. I'm not joking here, which looks like you were like, the name suggests somewhat, except somehow not really, you know what I'm saying? And even more bizarre, the Monkeytail Beard shaped looks like a monkey tail curling around the wearer's face. This is not a joke. Pictures of it are starting as a sideburn, curving to the chin and then around the lip, finishing with a mustache. And that's it. No balancing collection of facial hair beginning from one side to the other, just one monkey tail. Online response to men has been predictable, with one writing saying, "I will join the fight against the monkey tail." They cannot stand another posted, "Finally, they have issue worthy of an insurrection." But women seem to, a little more open-minded to the idea. With one commenting, "I enjoy the monkeytail beard trend, appreciate man burns," whatever, and think men should be encouraged to be more playful and expressive in whatever ways that brings them joy. So there are pictures readily available of the monkey tail if you're so interested in looking. So I'm sure that this will become a job hazard at some point. You can also go to tinyurl.com, and I'll try to give you the quick version of it. Y3GULAUM. That's tinyurl.com. Y3GULAUM. That's readily available for you. So definitely recommendation if you feel that you're not being noticed enough on a Zoom call, why not grow that thing out? Or just comment that your personality is based solely around your beard, because that's always interesting. This is a classic example of the thought process of someone who has spent way too much time on lockdown and definitely needs to get out a little bit more, or is dying to find her attention. Just look at my beard.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety
what are you wearing
FM.
right now?
We'll be right
That's
back.
Right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association.
Jay Allen in the morning on Radio Big.
On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous. I'm addicted to you.
Okay, that's City of Sin brought to us this morning by Nord Nick. Thank you for letting us take a listen and play this on Radio Big and on safetyfm.com, of course. Thank you. Thank you. A little bit more City of Sin. This is available on Spotify and on iTunes Music.
In my city, gritty, gotta keep it on your waist. Or you might be a victim, they'll find you DOA. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you.
Okay, so there you go. Let's get back to what we're doing here. 39 minutes past the top of the hour. That is for sure. We are on the clock, baby. On the clock as we're moving forward here. And let's continue talking and let's get into some of the world of the news, of the weird, because that is something to talk about. A research paper published this week in the Journal of Science has revealed that rats don't enjoy playing hide and seek. They really get in, or they, hold on, don't enjoy playing hide and seek. They really get into it. What? Yeah, you heard me. And they don't do it strictly for food rewards. And perhaps the happiest case testing rats over, German neuroscientists spent weeks teaching rats how to play hide and seek in a large room of boxes before long and playful rodents were taking turns with the humans, finding a spot, waiting to be found. And for the scientists, it was studying play behavior in animals. For the rats, it was pure, uninhibited joy. Yeah, I'm being serious here. Researchers reported that the rest of the practical bubbled over the elation of every time they found their human. In fact, scientists recorded that their shrieks of glee, a sound that are high pitch, can't be heard by the human ear, even more adorable. The test subjects leapt in the air and they sniffed out a human. Yeah, and that was where the award for playing was. When they found the human, they were just tickled. Yeah, caressed and stroked. Rats are underrated. Just check out your dictionary if you really want to take a look at it and exactly what they have to say. Anyways, let's go to some more news of the weird here. A London man spent about $400 to have a veterinarian examine his dog's limps. Yeah, I did say limp. So there you go. But it turned out that the canine was just imitating its owner, who had broken ankle. Russell Jones said that he noticed after his ankle was broken that his dog, Billy, Russell Jones and Billy, okay, was keeping one of the front paws raised as he was walking. Jones posted a video on Facebook showing that the dog hopping next to him as he walks, and of course, on crutches. The vet told Jones that his dog was imitating the way that he was walking with a broken ankle. Billy had a limp. Billy had been limping since the day after Jones injured his ankle. There is a link available for this if you want to see more. I will give you another tiny URL here. I think I need to get them as a sponsor as much as I'm saying about them here. So you can actually go here. You go to tinyurl.com, Y3TH2VWZ. That's tinyurl Y3TH2VWZ. I think I just need to start making these opposed to just saying them. It'll be so much easier. Okay, so should his wife be concerned if she catches Billy humping the mailman? I mean, I think that's something to think about, that's for sure. So let's talk about some other things. Let's get into some other stuff. Let's kind of get some outsourcing here from the feel-good moment to something else. Male actors who have played the exact same character in almost every movie they've been in. You want to hear part of the list that's making the circuit? So let's talk about it. Adam Sandler. Well, duh. I mean, that's kind of simple. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I like him. I mean, he can be the same character whatever he wants. He's a badass, so he can do that. Will Smith, Hugh Grant, Michael Cera, Will Ferrell, Jeff Goldblum for sure. For sure, I agree with that one. Mark Wahlberg, Jackie Chan, and Al Pacino. Hold on. I like The Devil's Advocate. That's an older movie at this point. There are more. Who comes to mind as I mention it? Some different stuff to think about. So that's for sure. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know? How can I tell you when someone isn't telling you the truth? In a new study, researchers have identified a strong sign of fibbing, mimicking the body language of the person they're lying to. According to Sophie Van Der Zee, researcher of the Erasmus University of Rotterdam in the Netherlands, liars often deliberately change their behavior into the way that they think the truth teller behave. But this behavior is something they don't realize they're doing. The study, published in the Royal Society of Open Science Journal, could lead to applications of theory in criminal justice. So there you go. There's your course for criminal justice for this morning, if you're so inclined to learn a little bit about that. But I think it's always interesting on how people react. I will tell you, if you ever want to see the difference between a good salesperson and a bad salesperson, the good salesperson, every time that they're talking to you, will do the following trick. As they're speaking, they're always shaking their head yes. Because in return, guess what happens? You start shaking your head yes as well. So when they're trying to, quote unquote, close the deal, they're already doing it, and you, in response, will mimic what they are doing. Not saying you're a liar. I just want to make sure that I'm clear here. What I'm saying is that's kind of how your system works, because you'll start doing the exact same thing like, yeah, spot on, baby. So there you go. Anyways, former Green Bay Packers general manager Ted Thompson has died. The Packers announced Thursday that Thompson passed away on Wednesday evening at his home in Texas. A cause of death was not revealed. Thompson's 13-year run as a Packers GM included the team's 2010 Super Bowl championship season. He also drafted many notable players on the current roster, including Aaron Rodgers. He was 68 at the time of death. So there you go. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, were with the family, because these are definitely some rough times when things like that occur. Let's continue talking a little bit about what is going on inside of the world of the swamp. President Joe Biden signed executive orders on Thursday to assist his global goal of vaccinating 100 million Americans before the end of the first 100 days in office. For some reason, the news story yesterday said 100 people, not 100 million. So that made like no sense. It's like, of course, Amazon can make it to 100 people in no time. So there's your retraction. The whole plan is outlined in a 198-page document, which starts with a national vaccination campaign and also funds state-wide distribution for that. Don't expect 100 million Americans to be vaccinated by the end of the first 100 days. Biden's goal is really to deliver 100 shots. That's not true. The actual two approved vaccines require 2 doses, so 50 million vaccinated Americans is the actual goal, if you kind of take a look at it. So is it really 50 million or is it 100 million? And I know that we got into that weird conversation yesterday, so let's not lie about it, about vaccination and what people will be willing to do. We were talking about New York specifically, but there you go. What do you got here? What do you got? 100 might be more realistic in some communities. I agree with you. Now, I know we spoke about this earlier in the week about people kind of hanging out and going to places where they might be doing community shots. That's community shots meant something else about a year ago, but now this means something entirely different. But where people might be doing community shots to see if they're leftovers. And I go back to the same subject matter of what do you do? How do you become the second dose person? If you get the first one as a leftover, because of how the valves work and all that kind of fun stuff, what do you do then to be able to get the continuation one? Like, do you get automatically on a list? Because you know that, I'm not going to say I live in an older community, but I live in a community where there's older people, or probably not even a community. That's bullshit. I live in an area where there's older people because the community's not old. And I just kind of wonder on how that works. It becomes very interesting. Anyway, so we'll see how it goes. Anyways, let's continue talking about the swamp and get the hell out of it right away. Mitch McConnell is pushing for a 2-week delay to the start of the former President Trump's impeachment trial, according to Politico. The timing was discussed on a conference call on Thursdays, insiders say. The articles of impeachment have not yet been formally advanced to the Senate, but Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that it will happen soon. So there you go. That's some information going on in there. And we are out of the swamp, baby. I like it. Anyways, no winner for Tuesday night Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $970 million. or a $716 million cash payout. Are you ready for this? A single Powerball ticket sold in Maryland matched all 6 numbers in Wednesday's night's drawing. The winner has the option of receiving $731.1 million jackpot or one lump sum of $546.8 million. This is the only the 4th time the jackpot has ever crossed $700 million. I will tell you, if I was to ever win the lottery, first I would have to play, which I don't do. But if I did, the first person that I would call is definitely my lawyer.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
When you're in the courtroom fighting big business, government, or insurance companies, you can't blink because they can smell fear. They have the money and the power to grind you down. And that's why you need me. I'm not afraid, and I don't cut and run. It's in my DNA. And that's why we're unstoppable.
Oh, thank you to our good old friends at Feiger Law there for that one.
He's the man. It's awesome, funny, random, doesn't make any sense, but it's good.
Jay Allen in the morning on Radio Big.
Okay, let's continue going down the tracks here and talking about some other stuff going on inside of this lovely world of ours. So let's talk about some albums being released today, if you so care to know so. Bicep is releasing Isles. That's what you got there. Wanderana is being released today. I don't even know what that is. The Dead Daisies, Holy Ground, Moon Taxi, Silver Dream, Bugsy Malone, The Resurrection, Lova, Growish, Rye Home, The Lonely Brave, The Hope List, and Little Skies with Unbothered. Hold on, before I forget about this, doesn't Billie Eilish have a new song coming out today? She does, right? I think it's like at 9 o'clock. Is it Pacific? Okay, so if you hang out with us on Radio Big, we will get you the new Billie Eilish song as we go over there this morning. I'll make sure that everything's there. Also, as we go up to the top of the hour and going across onto radiobig.fm, I got something for you, something special. It's going to be a little bit of Huey Lewis in the news and Metallica. And believe me, I think you might want to come across to take a listen to this. It's going to be special. Let's hang out and do some of that. It's an interesting matchup of things. Anyway, let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger for a moment. Arnold Schwarzenegger received his first dose of the COVID vaccine this week. The actor pulled into Dodger Stadium to get the jab, during which he dropped 2 famous movie lines. He told the person administering the vaccine, "Put the needle down. Put the needle down," which is a reference to his film of Jingle All the Way. He also said, "Come with me if you want to live," which is what the Terminator told Sarah Connor in the legendary sequel. One that came to, hopefully that he did before he left, but it wasn't said, is, "I'll be back in about 3 weeks." That would have been the best way to finish that up. Anyway, something to think about for sure. Yes, matter of fact, yesterday was one-liner day, not today. So there you go. Anyways, inside of the world of sports, let's talk about it because I know that we have some NFL fans out there. No, some NFL fans, not the No Fun League, but the NFL. So here you go. The 11-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers will take on the 13-3 Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field this weekend. The Packers are 3-point favorites over the Buccaneers, so that will be taking place this weekend. The Buffalo 13-3 Bills will head to Arrowhead Stadium against the 14-2 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are also favored to win by 3 points. Worth noting, if the Buccaneers win, they will be the first team to ever play the Super Bowl on their own home field. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've been looking for this my whole life. I don't watch football. I did watch football at one point religiously. I did live in Texas at one point too, so let's kind of make sure that I'm clear here. But I have always wanted to see one of the teams, of course, that has home field advantage to be one of the places that is playing. So whoever's actually hosting, I always wanted to see that. And boy, would that be something to really see out of the ordinary. I mean, some other stranger things have occurred as of late, so why not that? I mean, that's kind of the interesting part. Anyways, let's talk about these countries that have remained COVID-free. The Cook Islands, the population is about 17,000, nada. So we're going to go through the whole list. Tuvalu, population is 11,500. Tonga, 104,000. Pitcairn Islands, about 50 people. I mean, does that count? That's like a household in California. Palu, population 17,900. Tequilao, 1,411. And then Micronesia, 112,000. And then the Turkmenistan, about 5 million people. They're all still COVID-free. So good to hear about that. That is for sure. There is hope after all. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened on this date back in 2010. Conan O'Brien ends his brief run as the host of The Tonight Show. NBC promised him the show when Jay Leno started talk to retirement several years earlier. Leno wasn't quite ready to hang it up. That was for sure, and took an early time to slot with a very similar format. Soon, Conan's rating would flounder, and NBC executives wanted to move Leno to a half-an-hour slot before Conan's lead-in. But Conan wouldn't have it. Hosting The Tonight Show was a dream, and changing the historic time slot and format didn't sit right. NBC ended up paying a reported $30 million for Conan to leave the show. $30 million. The gig that you worked for all of your life to get. And then he moved to TBS, which he still has a show. I think he said that he is ending it in June of this year. But think about that. Think about sometimes the windows of opportunities that come around and about. And how sometimes some of these weird doors might not end up being exactly what you want them to be. But you have to take a look around and see what other options might be available. That's always the fun part here. Now, I will tell you, I talk to people all the time inside of work organizations and places and the things that they do, and they have these trajectories or these plans that they want to be at X destination point because they've been at this company their whole life or they've worked here so many years, and that's what they want to go to. And sometimes when you get there, the journey was the experience, not the destination. That's the stuff you have to think about. And sometimes, maybe that wasn't really truly the destination. Maybe there's more. This week alone, I've spoken to several people that are retired before they started their consultancy, before they started doing bigger gigs, because they retired because they were tired of their normal day in and day job. And I'm not saying everybody should do this. And they decided to do something different. Don't think that one path is the only path that's going to get you to where you want to go. Things change along the way. Keep that in mind as we do talk about it. Anyways, Ricky Garcia's birthday is today. He turns 22. Logic, the rapper, turns 31. Ray Rice turns 34. Shane Long, soccer player, 34. Ben Taylor, folk singer, turns 44. Let's see. It says, oh my God, Harvey. Gabriel Mack from Suits turns 49 today. He's still a young guy. I didn't know that. Guy Fieri turns 53. Diana Lane turns 56. GJ Jazzy Jeff, you know, the guy that used to hang out with the Fresh Prince, turns 56 today. Linda Blair from The Exorcist turns 62. And here you go. Frontman for Aerosmith. Frontman for Aerosmith. Can't even think. No, that's a lie. I just so lied to you. My brain just went I was thinking Steven Tyler, even though I had already read the name. Steve Perry, sorry about that, turned 72 today. So there you go. That's what's going on inside of the world of the birthdays. Let's talk about the days of the year that you can celebrate today if you so desire to do so. So here you go. Answer Your Cat's Question Day, Celebration of Life Day, Come In From the Cold Day. I think that's 2 days in a row we celebrate the Come In From the Cold. Dance of the Seven Veils Day, National Hot Sauce Day, National Blonde Brownie Day. I love me some blonde brownies. I really do. That in the Magic Bar, holy crap. Anyways, National Polka Dot Day. Really? That's a thing. And then Roe versus Wade Day. So there you go. That's some stuff going on today if you so desire to hang out and do those things. Anyways, before we let you go now, let's talk about this, about our friends at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones. They are also the best resource for professionals. If you want to find out more information, you can go to their website at suicidepreventionlifeline.org. That is suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Or you can go to or not go to. You can call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-TALK, or 1-800-273-8255. Whichever one's easier, please don't do anything if you're contemplating either one of those two things until you call the number, just to be sure. Anyways, so that's what's going on here. We are coming close to the top of the hour. I will get you moving and grooving. So keep in mind, we got some Billie Eilish coming up on the other side. We have also Huey Lewis in the news and Metallica that we're going to talk about, some of the combination thing that's going on there. And then we were also going to give you some whack facts on that other side. Oh, yeah, that's what's going to happen. You can come to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out and do some of those things. Anyways, let me give you some slices of BS for today before we let you go. A study says that men are more likely to lose their memory if they've been drinking heavily. Though I think I would agree, occasionally forgetting where you parked is a small price to pay for being incredibly handsome and undeniably hilarious. A report claims that 60% of NBA players are broke within 5 years of retiring, but luckily they have all focused their energy on mentoring their kids and being great fathers. Facts, chillax, and whatevers are actual words in the dictionary. What dictionary? Ask those who use words like chillax and whatevers. Former Journey frontman Steve Perry, oh yeah, let's get that right now, turns 72 today. He plans to celebrate any way he wants it because that's the way he needs it, any way he wants it. You have to know their music to get that reference just in case. The chef and host of Guy Fieri is 53 today, which brings up the question, just what do you get for the man who annoys everyone? That's a question, that's for sure. Anyways, let's get you rounded out right now. So here we go. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. Name something odd that you like to smell the smell of. Boy, is that an interesting question for today. Oh, there you go. If you need a random joke for the day, the fact that I have more clothes to sleep in than go out in says something about me, doesn't it? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Women are more than twice as likely as men to do this. What is this good deed I speak of? What is it? Allow someone else to cut in line. So there you go. That's some things to think about. Anyways, this will bring us to the end of the show. If I can leave you with a thought for this weekend, think about this. If only we'd stop trying to be happy, we could have a pretty good time. Think about it in that fashion. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Safety FM and RadioBig.fm and coming across the multiverse of Safety FM. Thank you for always taking a listen to what we got going on here. You are the best part of Safety FM as the listener. As you know, Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. Anyways, we will be going over to RadioBig.fm. I would love for you to join me. If you would have the opportunity of doing so, you can always listen on the streamer, and that's the fun part about it. It's not a video sequence. You can actually just take a listen to the stream throughout the day. Anyways, thank you for always being here, hanging out. Anyways, I know who you are. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.